The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 midwinter edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and anyone else that'll give us money. Anyone else, business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by those great people over there at Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. And you can also see us on YouTube, where all the cool kids hang out.
Right? Cool kids hang out. Tom, last week was early winter, early spring. Now you've thrown us into midwinter. Well, we're going backwards to the future here.
Had to give us a dose of reality right there. Yeah. Because as nice as it's been, you know it's coming. It's got to be a cold snap, I think.
I'm okay. You know what? It's okay with me. I feel maybe slightly bad for the skiers, but they make snow at all the places, so it's cold enough to have snow. Yeah. You know, but so I'm good. It can just be spring tomorrow as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. You could put a line in somebody's water.
There's always an opportunity.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a great show all racked up for you, too. Attorney John Murphy is going to stop by. He is the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. We'll see what's going on there. And Stephanie Polano, owner of Blake Jewelers. Heather Drake Bianchi is the CEO of Drakos Dynamics, which has a new urgent care facility for all ages. I'm happy to know that's right around the corner for me. Just in case.
You can get a subscription.
That's right. Yeah, I think they have like the action, the yearly plan. Yeah. Mark Roberts stops by, owner of Staff Leasing PEO. Drew Wickham, the promoter of the CNY Boat Show. And John Cannaday, who is a Great Lakes Recreation and Tourism Specialist. They'll be on together. And then John Kupperman, owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. John Bidwell is the founder and head instructor of Shred Kickboxing. Maybe you could find another sport, a little something to keep you occupied.
You never know, Todd.
Charlie Roman, our good friend over there at Daniella's Steakhouse, he stops by, and he's also the owner of Daniella's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House right there on the Fairgrounds. Okay, so everybody's going to be here today, all the cool kids, and we start off with John Murphy. How are you there, John?
I'm good. You know, the weather talk reminded me, I saw that Puxatawny Phil came out.
Yes, I remember
6 more weeks with Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. There we go. I just saw something. It was like in the last couple of days on Facebook. It said, "Name a movie you've seen many, many times." and I didn't say Groundhog Day, but I thought it. You know,
it's crazy because AMC did a smart thing. They were showing it over and over and over again, and I think I watched it one time through, and then I was like cleaning the kitchen and doing stuff around the house. It came on again. I watched it again, and then the wife said, "Do we have to watch it again?" And I'm like, "It's a classic. I mean, every line's a classic, isn't it?"
It's true. It's true. It's amusing.
That's crazy. So, John, what's been going on in your world? New year, new starts to things, and all that.
New people. We have a new receptionist at our Syracuse office, as we like to call them internally, the director of First Impressions.
Yes, that's right.
Patty. Yeah. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. Comes to us from career of teaching, primarily French.
Oh, okay.
So very, very interesting lady. And we hired a community and professional relationships person up in Watertown. Her name is Jen Coleman. Okay. And she actually broadcasts up there on a smaller station, 6 to 10 in Watertown. She's going to be working for us to get our name out there in the community and see how we can help people in Watertown.
Yeah, great.
So very excited.
Yeah, you're on the grow, as they say, right?
Yeah, we are. And my team has just rallied and really carrying me forward. So, on the shoulders of others, we can do great things, and my team is making that happen for us.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So you have one of your workshops coming up, I know that, and that's important because people can learn a variety of things, not just one thing, and they get to know you personally.
Yeah, so it's Monday at 10 o'clock a.m. and at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Hampton on Buckley Road. Register right online. We talk about a lot of things. There's a lot of misinformation out there, things people don't really understand. A lot of people think that if they have a will, their family doesn't have to go through probate when they die, that the executor can automatically just start doing stuff. No, the will's not valid until a judge says it's valid. Right. So it has to go through a process that's called probate.
Yeah.
Other things people think sometimes, I don't need a will because my power of attorney can take action after I die. No, they can't, because that authority ends when you pass away. Other people worry about trust. They don't think that they can be in control of their assets. Most people we work with in pre-planning want to protect their home and life savings from long-term care costs or Medicaid. Some big pushback we get from people who don't come to our workshops is, I can't be in charge of my trust, or I can't do what I want with it. Yes, you can. Okay? I'll let you in on a secret, listeners. You can even revoke an irrevocable trust in New York State. So you don't have to worry that you don't have control of your assets. So come to a workshop and learn about more.
That's along. So when you talk trusts, and we've talked about this stuff on the show before, people think that's for people that have, 8 and 9 figures in the bank.
Well, there are trusts for those people. Just not these types of trusts, right? Okay. Those are trusts that you use to shelter yourself from estate taxes or keep things generationally, like the Kennedys, right? Old man Kennedy's liquor money's been in a trust for generations, right?
Right.
Our folks are mostly middle-class people who've worked hard, who've earned a decent living. They have a home. Maybe they have a second home. They've saved some money, and they don't want to lose it to long-term care costs if they can legally plan to shield that money but still maintain their lifestyle.
So at the workshop, and you said people can register online, Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. They also can call 370-9977 if they want to do it that way.
Yes.
Okay, so 370-9977. But what happens at the workshop? What questions or what topics do you cover? Maybe a better question.
Well, we talk about probate, what the actual cost of probate is. A will generally winds up being the most expensive estate planning tool you can use. People say, what, a will's $300-400, right? Yes, but in the end, the average cost to go through probate is about 5% of your estate. Mm-hmm. So if your estate is $400,000, that's $20,000.
Right.
Yep. $20,000.
Yep.
If I can do that math in my head.
You did.
With the value of homes escalating in central New York, people's net worth has increased significantly over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize it.
Yeah. In case someone's confused, Medicare, Medicaid, tell us the difference.
Medicare, you're entitled to at age 65, it's health insurance. Okay? Medicaid, one of the aspects is health insurance for people who don't make a lot of money. What we do for people is if you're in a nursing home or you need home care or even assisted living, part of the Medicaid program will help pay for that care. Primarily in nursing homes. That's what people think of it most. Nursing home costs, not everybody knows how expensive it is. It's about $16,000 a month.
Wow, it's going up.
Central New York.
Jeez.
Yep.
$4,000 a week.
That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, well, $500 a day plus.
Wow.
John, I've heard people say in the past that, to avoid even having to go see Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, I'm just going to spend all of my money before I pass away. I'm going to give it away, as gifts to the grandchildren, to my kids and all that, so that when I pass away, there won't be any money for anybody to take and everything will be cool.
Well, passing away is the easy part.
Okay.
Right? It's long-term disability that puts you in a nursing home is where the issue is.
Yeah.
Right?
People don't anticipate that.
Right. No one's ever going to go to a nursing home, yet they're full.
Right.
When are you going to die, Tom?
You never know.
Because if you time out all your money to the day you die, perfect.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true.
And if you didn't go in a nursing home, right?
Yeah, so plan backwards, right? The day you're going to die, right? So spending your money on yourself from a Medicaid perspective is fine. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to take your wife on a trip, that's great. Okay. Giving it away is where you can get in trouble, for lack of a better term, with Medicaid. If you've done that within 5 years of applying for Medicaid benefits to help you pay for the nursing home, okay, Medicaid presumes you did that to intentionally make yourself financially eligible. And for every $12,000 approximately that you've given away in the 5 years preceding the application for Medicaid, you're ineligible for Medicaid for 1 month.
Okay, so if they want information, 370-9977, they can talk to a case manager if they can't make the workshop.
Right, or if you have a Medicaid emergency, somebody's going to a nursing home now, call us.
They can call 370-9977, safeharborwillsandtrust.com.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a great rest of the day. Okay. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Stephanie Polano. She's the owner of Blake Jewelers right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back, and that means that you are too. Welcome to The Local Show with Tom and Steve. How you doing there, Steve? Are we in fishing mode because the weather's so nice?
Well, things are kind of frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen fish. Sort of. Kind of.
You can fish for fish sticks.
Yeah. So I have an announcement to make, Tom.
Okay. Well, we all look forward to that.
So, and I know you know what I'm going to say.
I'll be upstairs
I have
sleeping.
no idea what I'm going to say. So I am going to be doing a little bit of traveling in the next few months here and there.
Thank you. Let's celebrate.
So I just will let you know that we might have to lean on some of our partners to fill in. So there may be a day or two where I'm not here, Tom.
Yes.
So I just got to let you know that. So
yeah, I'm crying on the inside.
I can see it. I can see you're very concerned that the show will not proceed flawlessly without me here.
Goodness, what will I do? Who will interrupt my thoughts now?
What?
No, that's good. Good for you. You get out there and enjoy life.
You do seem a little happier when I'm gone. I don't.
Oh, everybody is. Don't you worry about it.
Pile on.
She knows. She hasn't known you that long, and she knows.
Yeah, it's clear.
All right. Stephanie Polano is here. She's the owner of Blake Jewelers. How are you, Stephanie?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Very good. Very good. What brings somebody into the jewelry business? Why would you choose jewelry?
I really don't know.
That's a great answer.
Did you wear a lot when you were younger?
Well, it was a matter of I've always loved it, and I used to cast back in the day. So I used to work for a manufacturer
In a foundry?
Yeah, and pour metal. I used to do that. Yep.
They're the nastiest places in the world.
That just doesn't seem like a female thing. I just don't get it.
I used to put on the moon suit, go into a room that was over 100 degrees. I used to, pour the metal. And
no kidding.
Oh yeah, it was.
Is that what that girl did in Flashdance? Was that? Does anybody remember? No, you guys are too.
No, we're too young. We didn't see the movie.
Yeah.
Flashdance. Okay. I thought she was at a foundry.
Sure, that's what she did.
Then she became a dancer and all that. Well, anyway, but okay. So you were doing the foundry thing.
Yeah.
Actually making the smelting, we call that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when you go fishing for those little things that you eat at Christmas time.
I eat smelt as well. But yeah, so you were doing that, and then what happened
I did
next?
a million other things. I taught. I went into trade shows. COVID hit, and that's when I kind of looped around again. And then I ran into a friend, obviously Blake, who got me into the industry.
Okay.
And I actually started my own brand, and I had that for about 3 years. And then Blake and I decided to merge.
I gotcha.
So that's kind of how that went.
And Blake is from?
He's from here, or
Right.
he's from Rochester, but he's down in Peddler's Village. He's in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, Blake Jewelers, what makes it a little different? Did you think to yourself, I got to do something that's a little different than maybe some of the bigger box store type places?
I think we do a lot of things different. One is our prices are just much lower across the board. So we're really proud of that. We source all over the world to get sure, to make sure that everybody's got the best prices with any kind of metal that you want. But also our diamonds, that's the other big thing. Our lab diamonds especially, we can get the lowest prices. I actually just had someone come in. She wanted a green diamond, and she looked everywhere.
Green?
A green one. She wanted a green one, this customer.
Is it actually the color green?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's really pretty. It's just like, it's like a forest green, and she was very specific, and she found one other jeweler that found that had one, and they were trying to sell it for $30,000.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was a joke, and she's like, okay, no, we're coming to you. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm never going to sell you that.
No kidding.
It's a down payment on a house. We're not doing that. No.
Why don't you tell people what a lab diamond is?
Okay, so my analogy is diamonds that are, it's basically diamonds that are either grown from the earth or grown in a lab. But the analogy is like you could either get food from a farm, or you can get food from a greenhouse. So it's still a diamond. It's just where it's grown is different. You're not mining it. It's grown. It's not just, they're not just putting it together. It's actually grown in a lab.
So diamonds are organic in nature? I mean, if
Yes,
you can grow it.
Yeah, it's grown.
Wait, hold on. Tom?
I didn't know that.
Okay, yes. There were diamonds, they pull them out, and they're, coal, time, rub, in the earth, and that's how diamonds are made. So they simulate that in the laboratory.
Right.
And get diamonds. Real diamonds.
Very nice.
Right. They're tested a diamond. Chemically, they use lasers, they use everything. It's still a diamond.
And they cost
a fraction, like just a massive, small fraction compared to natural diamonds.
And they're real? This isn't because cubic zirconia?
No,
is that what they call that?
It's not a CZ.
Okay, so
It's not a moissanite. It's not another gemstone. It is just a lab diamond. And they're just a lot less expensive to natural in general, but our costs to lab diamonds compared to our competitors are still considerably less.
And then you got to take that diamond, whether it's lab grown or not,
right,
and you have to put it in something, some sort of a...
Ideally. I mean, you could just carry it around in your pocket if you really want to, but ideally you,
I've seen that in movies.
Put it in a setting.
But yeah, a setting. So you help people design the setting, or do they design it themselves? How does that work?
we have a few different options. So when you come into the store, we have a selection, we call it glass and brass, of replicas of a bunch of settings that we already have.
I gotcha.
So, but it's too hard to get it, to have stock pieces, because people are going to come in and they're going to really like this setting, but geez, only if it came in a rose gold, and only if I really want a princess cut instead of an oval, and can you get it in a 10.25 ring size? You know what I mean? So there's too specific. People love customization. They love it. Everybody wants to be different, but yet we're all, we all want the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So we offer that. So we have hundreds of settings to choose from that are already pre-made, that come with matching bands. And we have classic bands for men, and we also have alternative metals for men. So we have a lot of options. And for whatever reason you don't like what we have CAD software. We have partners to do stuff like that.
We were over there, and Sonia got sucked in to wow. You can do your own thing, and Sonia's very creative, and she's on the engagement list. Right?
Does anybody who's listening know who Sonia is?
Sonia works here. Sonia is, and she's okay. Anyway, she's okay. She just loved the process, and with the AutoCAD, hey, you can do this. But this would look like this. No, you can design this, and the customization. And you were like, hang on, we can get this from another source. Okay, if we do it this way, okay, this will save you a few $100. And you just went down this piecemeal it,
right.
And she loved it. And clearly, you loved it because you were like trying to solve a puzzle. That's what I felt like.
That's really what it is, because I think a lot of jewelers really only have a few sources to get their things, but we have hundreds. So one vendor, for example, does settings very, very well, but their diamonds are like, they're not that they're not the best, but they overcharge for them. And why would we sell that? Why would we sell that when we can get it cheaper?
But other jewelers are selling their diamonds every day at a higher price.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah.
Or they wouldn't be in business.
Oh, I know. It's funny. I've even had another couple come in recently, and she got her engagement ring, I guess, out in Rochester, and she spent a fortune on it. And she's like, and it was a lab, and she comes to me, she's like, and she was looking for, I think it was, I don't know. I think it was like a 2-carat something. But anyway, it came on to only like about $1,500. She's like, it's only $1,500. I'm like, yeah, it's only that. But you can change the specs, go higher or lower. But she spent more than double on it out in Rochester, and her, you know what I mean. So she got all mad. She's like, you really sell it for this? I'm like, yeah.
So I like that you can use different settings, because sometimes they just put you into a silver or gold, and that's it. But you could do different things like that.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a trend? I've seen this, in the wedding industry, a lot of the bands, the wedding band, they're like wood or rubber or
I got
like
those
these.
too.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that? What do you got?
What, other than they're ugly? A rubber setting?
Yeah, like, you know.
The silicone ones.
Silicone, that's.
Typically, it's for people who are in laborious jobs. It's like they don't want to ruin.
It's like putting a washer from your sink thing on your family. Like, really?
It's not that they wear. I'm sure they don't wear it on like off times. I'm sure they're wearing the real bands on their off times. But when they go to work, they wear the silicone because if they're wearing, working with machinery or something, they don't want to ruin it.
Right.
That's all it's for. It's just for work purposes.
I've just noticed some couples they have like really cool colors and wacky things.
Yeah, if you want a really cool color, we can get you a really cool color. If you prefer a silicone one just for an everyday thing, let's do it.
I know that when we were out there and going through the process, when Sony was looking at rings and things, Sony, who works for our Zoey, advertising.
At least tell people who she is.
And she's a wonderful young lady. Don't tell her I saw that. She is. She loved it. And so you're at Township 5.
Yes.
So people don't have to go downtown and they don't have to wade through the mall. And
nice.
So if I were to say they should stop and at least check out what you have, they're going to look at other places, great, but make one stop.
I actually encourage them to shop around because that's the fun part. I go ahead, shop around, and then figure out your prices, and you're going to come to me, and you're going to be like, oh wow, okay, you do it a lot cheaper here.
Right next to Subway.
We're right next to Subway, right next to Petco,
across from
Costco, in that plaza right there.
Excellent.
Near the movie tavern.
Well, Stephanie, have a great Valentine's Day and into the spring. Enjoy it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Heather Drake Bianchi. She is the CEO of Drakos Dynamics, which has a new urgent care facility for all ages right here in our area. So stick around right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Well, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this big game weekend. Do you have any plans for the big game?
Maybe.
Okay. Because I know you're not very popular, so people don't want to invite you over. I get that.
It's true. It's true. No, we're going to my brother-in-law's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yep.
And he's a manager at Wegmans, so I imagine there's going to be food there.
Correct. So he has lots of things. And he's kind of a hospitality guy.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll have way too much of everything.
Excellent.
That's Jim. So we're
good. Maybe you could take some home and eat for a week.
We're going to do that. I did see football. There was a thing earlier this week on social media. It was trivia questions. They're Jeopardy.
Yes, yeah.
And they asked like 5 questions, 2, 4, 6, and there was these 3 smart egg-headed type people.
Yeah.
They didn't know one football term. They were like, okay, like when a team jumps over the line, what's it called? What is offsides? They didn't know. They were
more cerebral.
They were 0 for 5, and Trebek was like. So not that way.
Yeah, I gotcha. Hey, look, just really quickly before we get into Heather Drake Bianchi here, the folks over at what do you call that? Syracuse Dog Fence.
There we go. I didn't know what you were going to talk about.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say because the weather's been so good that we've let the dogs run around the backyard and do their business and everything, and I can't think of a better method to keep your dogs in the yard.
Did it actually make you happy? Because you're not usually happy.
Yeah,
Are you actually happy?
I smile at least once a day now, and that's when the dogs
because
go
you didn't
out.
have to. Okay, well,
I don't have to corral. I don't have like twisty leads out there or anything like that.
Stan and Donna and Jamie out there. Of course,
great.
15 years ago, we did it with Zoey at the last house we had.
Sure.
And she would chase the squirrels to the line, and you just didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And in the training, they came back and trained once and made sure it worked. And I couldn't have been happier with the product. Probably if anything I ever bought, it just
is
worked.
absolutely wonderful.
But if you want to keep your dog in the yard, do
safely.
what Tom did.
Yeah.
What's the name of that place, Tom?
Syracuse Dog Fence.
That's right.
You did the same thing.
Well, I'm like, it's Stan and Donna, right?
Right, yeah, that's how we know.
415 and then a whole bunch of 5s.
Yes.
And that's Stan's cell. 415, a whole bunch of 5s. They'll quote it and you'll
get
be
it
happy.
done now.
Yeah.
Save yourself the hassle.
Good point.
All right, Heather Drake Bianchi is here with us. She's the CEO of Drakos Dynamics, which has a new urgent care facility for all ages. How are you there, Heather?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you a Syracuse native? You from around here?
Yes. Yes, I grew up in Camillus.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I went to West Jenny.
Oh, all right.
Do you sell a punch card? Because Tom, 10 urgent care visits, get one free. Because Tom would use that up in a month. Do you use like a punch card you can use?
I'm a hypochondriacal Italian guy, and actually I say that, but I've never. I don't think I've been. My daughter is. My 25-year-old. She's nuts.
I wonder where she gets it.
Yeah, right. Who knew? So you went to West Jenny. Is this a family business? I always thought these urgent care things were like, from out of state and all that. So
a lot of them are.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it sort of is a family business. Started the business, and let's see, about 4 years ago at this point.
Okay.
But we weren't originally doing urgent care. We were doing laboratory testing for the Hollywood industry. And
explain that to me.
What is that?
Yeah, what's the link there?
Yeah. Remember, it's a short show. Go ahead.
Was working as a paramedic locally downtown, and also working as a set medic for the local Hollywood industry. So when COVID hit, they asked us to come up with a solution to get people back to work. And normally the medic on site, hopefully aren't doing a lot, but when COVID hit, that entirely changed. And I thought everybody would have come up with the mobile laboratory idea, but they didn't, and that was a surprise.
So you were working for American High.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, with Jeremy Garlick.
Yeah, they've been on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
And they were super supportive to our start. With Mal DiBartolo. Yeah, super supportive. And my mentor from Hulu was like, you got to make this into a business. And so that started the mobile laboratory. Then Netflix picked us up for the movie Don't Look Up. Then we got picked up by Disney for The Menu. Went out to Boston for Boston Strangler. Went out and did some stuff for the Lakers for the show Winning Time.
And when you say you were doing stuff for them, you were testing people?
Yep, we were doing PCR testing, health and safety, risk management,
But if someone had a stomach ache, they talk to you?
They would talk to us, and we would help to either find them care or have them see the set medic that was there, whatever it might be. We really just tried to come up with solutions that were health-oriented during a time of a public health crisis, which was very abnormal for Hollywood. Normally there's a set medic and, everything is very safe, so they're not very busy. During COVID, that switched. And we would try to provide as many solutions for Hollywood as possible, but it's usually outside of a typical healthcare solution. Normally you get sick, you go to the doctor, and you get your prescription and life goes on. But that's not how Hollywood works. They don't want you to leave. So you have to bring all these resources to set, and you have to come up with a lot of logistic solutions. So over the past 3 years, or across the country, around the world, we got really, really good at logistics and medical solutions. With that, we pivoted to urgent care locally because after 3 years of living in hotel rooms and traveling around the world, Hollywood is fascinating. It's a lot of fun, and I learned a ton. But it's really tiring, and so we were perfectly content to come home.
And I want to hear all about obviously the urgent care, but I got to ask you because listeners are probably saying, "Well, what's the biggest star that you met during these times?" Really?
All of Netflix, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And you got to just hang out with them, rub shoulders.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And then Tom and Steve today.
Yeah, right. So now you dumbed it down.
It was the least common denominator.
Who are these two rummies?
How'd you pull a pin on a local urgent care center? Explain it to me.
Yeah, so when we were out in Boston, this was back in, I think it was 2021 at the time. I had a baby during all of this.
Nice. That's fun.
Good timing. And we were so happy about it. And when he was 8 weeks old and we were on a project out in Boston, he came down with COVID. And that was
goodness.
And that was back when we didn't really know how kids were going to react to COVID.
Yeah, sure.
So we're living in a hotel room. I have my dogs with me in this hotel room. We're working on this big project from Disney, and I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do here? Yeah. And I pulled up on my phone that they had an urgent care, but noticed on Google Maps that there was a pediatric urgent care.
Oh.
And I had an appointment within 15 minutes while sitting on my couch because locally, like I called the local pediatrician here, but they weren't doing telehealth and, have had good reasons for them why they didn't want to do telehealth, and they weren't really able to give me any answers. They were like, well, you have to come in. I'm like, I'm in Boston. Like, it's not happening. It's also a blizzard outside.
So you said, I can do this. How?
Fast forward, fast forward when I got home, there was a couple of things that happened at home with some EMT colleagues whose kids got sick, and I was like, oh my God, pediatric urgent care. We know how, we can do this. How hard could this be?
Right, yeah.
So that's where the pediatric urgent care came from, is when we were traveling around the biggest cities in the world, and we saw different healthcare systems and different approaches to healthcare. So we learned a lot of different ways of doing things. And because of having to come up with creative solutions in Hollywood, we applied that knowledge here locally.
Very good.
So we started the urgent care, which...
Where is it?
So we started the first one, which was a pediatric urgent care. That's at Clay Medical Center.
Okay.
Gotcha.
This urgent care, the current one, is for all ages. And that was in response to the parents asking us to open an additional site.
And where is that one located?
That is out in Cicero on Legionnaire Drive.
Okay, so right by the
by the Legion
post office.
Yeah, right
okay,
post office.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
and kind of near that Clay area, the other one, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And anybody can go there.
Anybody
except
can go
Tom.
There. Except Tom. There's no Toms on that.
So private pay insurance, how's it work?
Insurance, private pay. You don't have to have insurance to come in. Fully transparent pricing model. Won't cost you more than $350 to be seen, and you got to be really sick to get that high. But a normal visit is just under $100.
So do you take Excellus and those things that some people are taking now?
Yep. So so we take Excellus, Fidelis, TRICARE, Humana, and and as the insurance companies respond to our request to onboard them, we'll eventually take everything.
Say somebody came in and they had a fishing hook lure in their hand. Would you take that out for them?
You know, it's funny. That was my first patient at the pediatric urgent care.
No
that
kidding.
So
Steve does that.
I've had I have souvenirs I can show you. That's I fish. So real quickly, when are you open?
Noon to midnight, 7 days a week.
Noon to midnight in Cicero, which if somebody's not from Cicero, off the highway, it's right there.
Also, do you have doctors there, or is it NPs, or what?
PAs, or what?
Who staffs it?
We have physicians, NPs, PAs.
Wow, you got it all. Wow. Well, that's wonderful. This is great. Heather Drake Bianchi, what a model. We have to have you on again and unpack even more. Or just come in and just do a health checkup on us.
She's smarter than that.
You know, it's interesting. Like, part of everybody knows of urgent care, but we're so happy to come up with solutions like coming to people's workplaces, going to people's houses, whatever it might be if you need something. Because we're so used to doing it for Hollywood, there's no reason we can't do it for people at home.
What's the website?
urgentcare.drakosdynamics.com.
Okay, and that's online. So the phone number out there is 217-1619. So they can reach out to you, 217-1619. That's what it is. Huh?
Great. Heather, you have a great rest of the day, okay?
You too. Thank you.
All right. Mark Roberts is coming up next. He's the owner of Staff Leasing PEO. Stick around for that conversation on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You're swinging into The Local Show with Tom and Steve on a weekend midwinter, or as Steve likes to say, just before spring.
Very close to springtime. I can feel it. The groundhog saw something or didn't see something, and in a couple of months, you'll be trout fishing, won't you?
I don't know.
Probably not. He doesn't trout fish.
I can't catch the bug for fishing anymore.
I think it's a gene.
I don't know what it is.
I think it's a gene.
I
got kids didn't get it.
Yeah.
My kids are like, if they're biting okay, I'm like, hey, you want to go fishing? Yeah, it's okay, Dad.
But I used to love it. I mean, I lived on the lake. I mean, Kelly and I used to live off, eat dinner 3 times a week from the lake.
Well, now that you're a carnivore, fish is good.
Fish is good. It's all good. But I don't know. I think it was the amount of work. I've taken a boat and had to put it away and take it out and put it in. And,
That's why I don't ice fish.
That's a lot of work.
It's a whole thing. And
you have to be semi-healthy. You never make it.
Good point. Well, you will now that you've lost 7,500 pounds.
Right. I could jog right out there.
You're skinny, Tom. Listeners are thinking they have their YouTube thing skewed wrong. You know, you just lost a lot of weight.
30 pounds down. I'll tell you what. I'm looking better than Arnold right now. Of course, he's 110, but you know,
not looking like much.
All right, Mark Roberts is here. Speaking of young, strapping men, you know, Mark is. You got it right. You got the keys to longevity.
Oh yeah. Somehow, I'm not quite sure.
That's what I think about when I think of strapping young men.
That's wonderful. Mark Roberts is the owner of Staff Leasing PEO. You do have a partner, and who's the partner?
I do. My partner is Tom Boel.
Okay.
We've been in business now for 1989, 35 years.
Goodness.
What a great name for a company. Am I able to?
Come on now, Steve.
What?
Yeah. No, we are not a temp service, okay?
I understand
That's what
that.
Steve keeps saying, but we've been around for quite a while, and we've got the recognition that goes along with the name.
Doing what?
We are an off-site human resource department assisting small businesses in growing their business and focusing on what they do best. We handle all of the off-site human resource, so onboarding, handling the employee benefits, workers' comp management, and also the payroll. So we're processing all of that. So it's a one-stop area that can really take care of allowing the clients to concentrate on what they do.
Do you focus mainly in Syracuse, or do you go beyond Syracuse?
We've got clients in probably, I want to say, close to 20 different states.
Oh, goodness.
Primarily focused here. Excuse me. And it's clients that may have employees in other states.
Oh, right.
So they're housed here, and, you know, we've got clients all over the place.
Specifically, have you looked for people like down in Boca Raton so you can go down there and administer?
No, we really have. North Carolina, we got a couple of clients there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so.
Good. And you're an avid golfer, are you?
I do enjoy golfing, yes. I've been a member over at Lakeshore for over 30 years.
The more you hit the ball, Tom,
yes,
the more value your golf membership.
Of course, yes.
I'm getting my money's worth then.
Do you golf with Perry? I know Perry Noun's up there.
I have golfed with Perry up there, yes. Perry's a very good guy. Good golfer, too.
You ever golf with that Steve Roberts guy?
Oh, my God. He is a pain in the butt.
That was my next thing.
I know. I just thought I'd lead you there.
He just does not stop talking.
No, right. Or fishing and doing other things.
I must say, I have golfed with Steve a couple of times where he has actually brought a fishing pole and has caught several fish on the golf course.
It's crazy.
So it's like, okay, great. It's not a hole in one, but that's a good sized pass.
Yes, you try. So from a HR standpoint, there was like no jobs, and there's a lot of jobs, and people changing jobs, and which way is the wind blowing?
You know, it's funny because people, after the pandemic, a lot of people were working remote, and people are still looking at trying to work remote. Yeah. And a lot of people just are still looking for people, but finding the people has really been where the issue is.
Sure.
And one of the things that we've been able to help with is by having a comprehensive benefit package that we can offer out to our clients that is, you know, we've got 4 health plans: dental, life, vision, 401k, flex, EAP. We've got a very comprehensive benefit package that for a lot of these small businesses to try and put that together on their own, then manage it with all the bills that come in. Are the deductions done right? If a person leaves, are they being taken off the plan, or are you still paying for it? All of that administration aspect of having benefits is taken care of.
Yeah. Now, you're connected to a lot of people, you know, business owners and other bigwigs here and there. So what have you heard about Micron? Are you pretty positive that things are going to start flowing here?
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You hear a lot of positive stuff. Yeah. You start hearing more and more about the extra cost it's going to be to run the water there and all of that, but which is doubled from what they were saying. But you know, what it's going to end up doing for this market is completely change it. I mean, if you look at the housing cost and everything that's going up so much, and the availability of homes.
Yeah. So what about construction folks have a higher workers comp rate? How do people that use an organization like yours compensate for that, or do you use their rate? They get their own rate, their own insurance, your insurance? Because it's kind of muddy and messy, and I know that like if you're a roofer, you pay a whole lot more than if you're Tom sitting at a desk doing nothing all day.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's different workers' comp classification codes, which is tailored back with each one of the clients and what they do. With us, what we do, I mean, staff leasing is a PEO, professional employer organization, and the relationship that we have with our clients is really a co-employment structure. So that what ends up happening is that they're working for both of us. Workers' comp stays in the client's name. So their mods, their experience, their discounts, all that stays in place. What we're doing is managing it and making sure that each person has the proper workers' comp classification code. So somebody like Tom, as an example, with a lower workers' comp classification code would not be tied in with a roofing code by mistake that could be 10 times, 20 times.
But what if they're a hypochondriac like Tom?
Well, then you've got to just bury him in the backyard.
Mark, how do you keep up with all the ever-changing rules and government things that
that's
that come
one of
down?
the things that we're really able to help our clients with, too, is to make sure that they are in compliance. And it's an ongoing. I mean, the information and stuff that is out there and available, and the research that we do, and the team that we've got that keeps on top of all these things, and then sharing that information with our clients to make sure that they are in compliance and saving them a lot of issues and challenges that may end up coming up.
Over the past 35 years, has it ever been this complicated or this many rules?
You know, it's funny because when we started the company back in '89, it was payroll comp benefits. You couldn't even spell HR. And it was personnel.
I know I can't.
I think it was personnel back then, but now it's HR payroll comp benefits because there's so many different new regulations and laws and compliance issues that have come about over the years, from sexual harassment training that's got to be done annually to just monitoring and taking care of everything else that goes along with it.
And Governor Hochul makes it easy for all New York State residents.
Very easy. It's great.
Yeah, there's probably easier places to do business in.
You know, it's... Yes and no. I mean, you don't want to go out to California, I guess.
Right.
Okay, you know what? That's
I'll give you that.
Yeah, there we go.
So if somebody has their headquarters here in Syracuse, but they have a branch down in North Carolina, do you have to abide by North Carolina state rules and Syracuse? New York State? Right?
Yeah, everything, including, I mean, workers' comp is different down there.
Oh, okay.
The state unemployment is different down there. The tax situation for income is different down there.
Mm-hmm. How do you put illegal aliens onto the docket, Andy?
So have you met Steve?
Seriously, there's a lot of undocumented folks that work.
Yes.
And how does anybody compete with that?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Right, if you do it right. So Tom does it right.
Oh, I tell you what. Well, Mark Roberts right there, owner of Staff Leasing PEO. Call them up or go to their website, staffleasing-peo.com, and get your affairs right and do it the right way. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, as always.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Drew Wickham, the promoter of the CNY Boat Show, and John Cannaday, who is Great Lakes Recreation and Tourism Specialist. John Kupperman stops by, owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. John Bidwell, founder and head instructor at Shred Kickboxing. And lastly, we'll round things out with Charlie Roman, owner of Daniella's Steakhouse. All in hour number 2, which starts really soon. You stick around, okay?
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, welcome back. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Drew Wickham. He is the promoter of the CNY Boat Show, along with John Cannaday, who's a Great Lakes Recreation and Tourism Specialist. John Kupperman stops by, owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. We're going to talk with John Bidwell. He's the founder and head instructor at Shred Kickboxing. Hopefully he'll do a number on Steve. And then lastly, we'll talk with Charlie Roman, who is the owner of Daniella Daniella's Steakhouse and Daniella's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House over at the Fairgrounds.
So did you tell him to bring some things? You think he's going to bring anything?
Daniella's, Charlie?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Should have roughed him up a little bit, you know?
Be nice if he would, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'll just
come my steak.
Yeah, I don't think he will. He'll just be like, that's my invitation.
You know, I haven't been over there in a while. Now that I'm doing more steak, I'm gonna have to go over there for a steak.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah,
he's got it figured out.
Good. Well, Drew Wickham is here with us, promoter of CNY Boat Show. John Canaday is also here. You can check them both out on YouTube and see them live here in the studio. John is the Great Lakes Recreation and Tourism Specialist, and you can see all about the boat show at cnyboatshow.com. I think I've gone to the boat show just about every year.
Great fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is wonderful. Steve and I are both boaters. I mean, Steve to a lesser extent. He's more of a rafter than he is a boater.
One of the two of us owns a boat, and it's not him.
And not anymore. No, I am no longer a boat owner.
Well, come on, boys, get in the game. Get in the game.
So, Drew, let's start with you, and why don't you tell everybody what made you start this show, and
I work, I'm the event manager. I work for the Boating Industry Association of Upstate New York, and that's the boat dealers in Central New York. And they're the ones that set up the boats at the show. They do a great job, and it is a ton of fun. I look forward to the boat show every year because, to me, when I get to February, we're over the hump on February, on winter, guys. Summer's around the corner, and we're looking forward to having fun.
How many years you been doing this?
Oh, my goodness. I think I've been doing it almost 20 years.
No
Pushing
kidding.
20 years, yeah. Good fun.
Do you organize any other shows, or are you just a boat guy?
I have a couple boat shows with these guys. I just got back from Tallahassee, Florida yesterday. We do a home show down there, which who can't like Florida in the summer?
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
Winter, right?
Was it warm in Tallahassee?
It was. Yeah. It was 70 degrees, sunny, beautiful. It really was nice.
Good for you.
All right, so the boat show's this weekend. So they can go out when?
They can go Thursday. We start at 1 o'clock to 9, Friday 1 to 9, and Saturday 10 to 9, Sunday 10 to 5.
Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday 10 to 5, right?
10 to 9 on Saturday.
9. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to do that. And now, your friend you brought along with you, John Canaday.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at my diet. I like to have beets, and I have a can a day. So, John, what does a guy who specializes in tourism for the Great Lakes do on a daily basis?
So I work for New York Sea Grant.
Turn his mic on, Tom.
Yes, let's try that.
All right, can you hear me now?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so I am the Great Lakes Recreation and Tourism Specialist with New York Sea Grant. So anything that is related to the Great Lakes shoreline in New York and recreation, that falls under my umbrella. So I get to do a little bit with fishing, mainly boating, tourism. We have the proposed Lake Ontario National Marine Sanctuary, which we're hoping gets.
What is that?
It is a proposed. I have to say proposed. It's not official
it's not
yet.
Official. Okay.
Marine sanctuary up on Lake Ontario. So it's kind of promoting all of the wrecks that we have on Lake Ontario and the cultural significance of those wrecks and everything like that. There's a lot of great diving up there.
So just to summarize, we're going to. We sell boats at the boat show. We're celebrating wrecks and things at the bottom of the sea that didn't quite make it.
No,
just bring those things together. I don't know. I'm just saying.
These are boats that you might not find at the boat show.
Yeah,
the boat show boats are much higher quality than these boats are in their current state. But so I'm doing work with that and then promoting boaters education and boating and recreation safety. So whether that's going out on Lake Ontario on a boat or enjoying the shoreline, swimming on a beach, I'm going to be promoting that kind of stuff at the boat show as well.
What's your favorite beach in our area?
It's really hard.
If he picks one, he's in such trouble.
Selkirk Shores,
he's got you all the way to Rondequoit. You're everything, right?
Yeah, I am everywhere.
Right,
Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, both of them are under my jurisdiction for where I get to go. So I get to go to the close ones more often than the far ones.
Favorite fish to catch, favorite fish to eat?
I gotta love my yellow perch.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's my bread and butter. I love those.
If there was only a boat show where you could buy a boat
Right.
where you could fish off of it, Tom.
Yeah, there's lots of boats there. So we can go on the boats, right? I mean,
absolutely.
yes,
You can go on the boats, check them out, and there's all kinds of boats. There'll be runabouts and pontoon boats, personal watercraft. There'll be some cruisers there. I know there'll be one tug there. So it's a lot of different boats and accessories as well, docks, and everything you need.
How many buildings are you
We're in
taking
2
up?
buildings. We're in the new expo building and then the exhibit center just down the way from it a little bit that houses the dairy cattle during the fairgrounds. 2 big buildings.
So the cow barn and the expo center. That's a lot of that's a lot of space.
It is a lot of space, a lot of boats. And one of the things that we do with all that space is we actually have a few pre-owned boats that will be on display this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's probably going to be somewhere around 15 or 20 of them. I never know exactly how many are going to be there until we load the building because that inventory is moving every day. So I never know until the guys show up with it. But we're expecting that, and it's a good mix. So you've got those, a few of the pre-owned to look at as well as all the new that are out there. And trust me, there is a ton.
And so does your organization feel that people are buying less boats due to the Bidenomics and all the economy the way it is, or do people, because sometimes even in bad times people say the heck with it, I want to get out there and recreate?
I think they do buy boats.
Yeah.
We're coming off several years where inventory was short and it was difficult to find boats. We've finally gotten over that here the last year or so, and so there's plenty of inventory out there, and there are people buying boats. No doubt about it.
So
folks love to recreate.
They'll put their money where they can have a little fun.
Is anybody ever happy for a long season with the boat they have? Are they always looking to somebody?
Always looking to trade up.
Mine had this. Mine was. But what if we had this? Am I the only one that always has a little boat envy?
Well, and the other thing is you never know how much it's going to cost you want to trade in until you try. It might not cost you that much to move up a notch, and
obviously sold boats, John.
Bigger boats.
That's for sure. So are there any new things happening, John, in the way of the shoreline? Like, are there new marinas opening up or new beaches, or is it just pretty much the same stuff we're all used to?
There's a couple new marinas that are opening up here in the next year.
Well, and there are marinas aren't necessarily new, but there's new ownership going all the time, and I think that's the big thing. And one of the things that John pays attention to a lot is to keep us safe and in the right realm. And Brianna's Law recently came on the board, and I don't know, John, if you want to give him a quick chat on that.
I'm not familiar with that, so go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, so right now, to operate a motorboat in New York State, you have to have a boater's education certificate if you were born after January 1st, 1978, and starting January 1st of 2025, everyone has to have a boater's education certificate no matter when you were born.
So for Steve,
I got to go take a boater class at 60-something years old?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
The great thing is
there's nothing great about that. Go ahead.
We have a free boater education course at the boat show.
Can I do it online?
You can take it online.
Because I don't know. It just seems like we've become a nanny state. Stuff like that just makes me nuts. Okay, I've been on a boat since I was 13, and you're going to go maybe take some class to say...
Well, in fairness to that, Steve's not that bright. So
Okay, I don't know.
There's a good reason
I don't know.
Well, the problem, Steve, is there are a lot of people out there who rent boats, perhaps, and haven't run them all their life.
And I've seen them, and you're going, and you look at that idiot.
And so it's an investment of 8 hours that
you'll never get back.
Right.
You'll never get back. But the governor would love us to do it.
Yes, this weekend, the boat show.
Get over there.
If you like water, you like boats, it sounds fabulous.
Come
Those
see
buildings
us.
are both huge.
They are.
And people can see it, stand in it.
Have some fun.
Have some fun, and maybe end up with a boat. Who knows?
So, John, you'll be there as well?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
I have
great.
a setup for safe, environmentally friendly boating and
Beautiful.
boaters education.
Excellent. Okay, so go talk to John as well. All right, thank you both for being here.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
fellas.
it. Okay, John Kupperman's coming up next. He's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. Keep it right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You're back into The Local Show with Tom and Steve. Better than a football game right here. Just all the excitement without all the hurt.
And less calories. The calories. You know how many calories from listening to us.
Yes, that's right.
Remember when?
No, I don't.
Remember when we were young and you were a DJ that spun discs and I was a photographer that used film in the class, in the Hotel Syracuse and Lemoyne Manor.
Yes,
and Waisaki's, and how they would treat you with respect as a professional in that space. Mm-hmm. And they would bring you in, and they'd say, "Hey," they often knew you, and they took care of you, and they respected you, and it was marginally fun. You're working hard.
Oh yeah. It was, but it was a blast. It was like a big team, and
it was a big team.
Everybody was working for the cause, and I remember over at Lemoyne Manor. I'm going to forget her name.
Mary. Mary's Waisaki's. The lady with the black hair that was all sculpted up on top.
Yeah,
I think she colored it too.
But they used to make us pepper and sausage sandwiches after the whole band would eat, afterwards. Everybody was Italian.
I remember, early 80s sitting with, John Spillett might be playing, or the Coachman, or the Celebration Band, or all these things. The Four,
I played with
hasn't changed at all out there, has it, Tom?
Yes, right. Things are weird, and they got people managing these places that are my kids' age.
Yeah, well, they treat you with respect. Do they treat you with respect?
With zero respect.
That's got to be annoying.
Oh gosh, it's awful. Yeah. But I still go out and do it because, I tell my clients.
Because I don't pay you enough?
Yes, that's right. Okay. Well, there's that. That's A. B is that I work into my contract that I drink beer. So, you give me my beer and I'm all set.
Well, and C, you're pretty darn good at it. I've been to some shows you've been at.
Yeah, and then every once in a while I get lucky. Yeah. Speaking of lucky, we landed John Kupperman here, and he's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. How are you, John?
Very fine, thanks.
Good. Hey, you know what, man? One of the health guys that I follow on YouTube just did a whole thing.
Ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Well, I do.
I like the segue from drinking beer to watching the health
funny
thing.
One of the health guys I follow just did a whole little expose on the benefits of coffee and how great coffee is. And you got some really good coffee. Yeah. Well, they were talking about, how it fires the synapses. It jacks up your metabolism, so you're losing weight. It gets you up and moving, which a lot of people don't get up and move.
I had somebody read me the Riot Act once about, it's coffee. It's the alkaline or I don't know what the heck it is.
Well, there's some of that.
And it's going to, and you know what? And I ignored them and have been drinking coffee since I was 15.
You really should.
But if only you could get a good cup of coffee somewhere, Tom. Yeah. If only.
Yeah, you guys recommend a place.
Where would you recommend?
Mine.
So, listen, Juan Valdez. You get these bags of coffee, and they're green, right? And then you're roasting them.
They're actually the seed.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
They're the seed that is inside the bean.
Okay.
And literally the types of beans that we have, there are people that go out and hand pick them. Mm-hmm. Then they have to, almost looks like a cherry. It's red. And it's almost about that size.
Incredible.
And they have to set them in the sun to allow the husk to dry. Okay. And inside is the green bean. And it's 2 parts to the seed. So if you actually took one of those green beans and put it in dirt, you get a coffee plant.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like a pistachio, kind of, the inside of pistachio.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's only after you roast it that it pops like popcorn and it becomes nutty brown or much darker brown if you roast it further. But yeah, it's a seed.
And the roasting process, I think, Steve, it gets rid of a lot of the phytochemicals that might be inherent in the plant because, the plant's trying to protect
You're
itself.
using big words, Tom. What is a phyto what?
Yeah. I don't have to Google that.
Yeah. Do not double check me, folks. Just
well, I mean, a lot of the impurities come out. Because the beans do sit out in the sun, and there can be bacteria on it. And obviously, like anything that you cook, if you cook it properly, you killing off the bacteria or anything that's harmful. Yeah,
it's like with Steve. Steve will cook a hot dog and let it sit for about 3 hours.
Well, that has enough preservatives in it.
It was all natural
until it cures. Right. So as we're rattling the pots and pans in the kitchen, what's hot for this time of year up in the kitchen world?
Right now, it continues to be bakeware and cutlery. Yeah. I'm just pleasantly surprised, every day when you do the Z-tape at the end of the day, how much bakeware has gone out the door. And usually it's sort of a fall type.
Right, when
holidays,
people get into baking pies and things.
And we're early now for Easter and Passover, but people are still baking bread, and actually it just started being maple syrup time.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we know that.
People are coming in, buying the pots and the pans to evaporate the syrup.
Right. Oh, and we got St. Patty's Day coming.
Oh, yeah.
So what kind of implements do you have to make corned beef and cabbage?
You know, I was thinking bar and beer, but no.
Okay, there's that too.
Sure, we have all the pans and the pots and the pans and the utensils and the racks to pull it out and everything you could possibly want. But around here, St. Patrick's is pretty.
It's big.
It's huge.
I did a drive-by last week or so and just popped in to see John.
What is this, South Central LA?
I did a drive-by, and he did give me that why are you here look, and I went back and past the coffee roasters, and in the back, Syracuse China. He's got a room the size of our whole, I don't know, it's big room.
Yes, a big room.
Full of old Syracuse China stuff. And some of it looked a little familiar. Like, have I seen that pattern?
Did you buy it out or something?
Well, it started years ago at the other building when I had all the room in the world.
Yeah.
And it really became sort of a hobby and part of the business. I will buy people's collections at times. And other times we go out to Rochester on the weekends for estate sales.
Okay.
For some reason, Rochester has upwards of a dozen estate sales every weekend.
Wow.
And we'll hit anywhere from, we've hit 12 in one day, which is really moving pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But, so we're looking, unbelievable, Syracuse China will be there. There'll be vintage glass. We're looking for, quality used kitchen items.
So there's a market for it. People come to your place and look specifically for that.
So, they sure do.
So you're a pack rat. Change my mind.
I'm not a pack rat. No. I buy it and I want to sell it.
Okay, you know what?
I don't collect.
Okay.
But there are people that do collect.
I have spoken with Johnny after he came back from a weekend, and he's like a kid that saw Santa because he was like, oh my gosh. And you light all up. Yeah. There's a nostalgia thing. Yeah. You just really love that, don't you?
It's fun. Yeah. I find it fun. I mean, we go into a house, we'll hit obviously the kitchen, the garage, and the basement, and then we're gone.
Right.
And, not to sound that way, but I know what I'm looking for. I've been at this my whole life, so I can spot, something in a kitchen, and I know that it's got value to it.
Yeah.
And so we really go through it. And typically I fill the pickup truck.
Wow.
Every weekend. And then, Sunday.
You can spot a Ginsu knife from 30 feet away.
Yes, from a mile, yeah.
So when you're not getting the used stuff, how do you determine what's hot to carry retail-wise in your store or for commercial kitchens?
Well, yes. Well, commercial kitchens is almost always you're called and brought in.
Oh, I see.
Or people for a large equipment.
Yeah.
When it's supplies, somebody will just come in and shop the aisles. We've got everything that they would need. I just watched the daily sales, like I mentioned about the bakeware and the cutlery.
Right.
And as a result, I just expanded our bakeware and cutlery selection significantly. If people are buying it and they're looking for that, I run with it.
People used to get that stuff at department stores, didn't they, back in the day sometimes?
Yeah.
Hey,
department stores used to have everything.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So they used to, department stores used to have everything, including furniture. You could get your hair cut there, the whole thing. Those days are done.
Are people still coming in, pointing a knife at you?
Yes, less so because of the show.
Yeah. And on that same line, as far as knives, what about a slicer? I'm thinking of getting a slicer. Do you sell slicers?
Yes, we do. I've got about 4 different types right now.
What are you slicing? I'm sorry.
Well, because, you can just save so much money. If I, roast, make a nice big rib roast or something, I can slice a turkey, and then I can make cold cut, but it's not processed meats because I'm actually cooking the meat.
That sounds great.
Even the corned beef or a brisket or whatever.
Yeah, we have them that start at about $100 and they go up to about $400.
Nice.
But the one thing I always caution people is another electric appliance, think about where you're going to store it.
Yeah.
Just because.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, John. I live in a mansion. I can
get all the room in the world.
He does. He works 8 days a week to do that. But so Smith Restaurant, fresh coffee roasted, knife sharpening, always there.
Yeah.
And across from Texas Roadhouse on Erie Boulevard, not downtown, with the big building that says it's here. It's not there.
Right.
Erie Boulevard. DeWitt.
And you get the added benefit of talking with John.
There you go.
There.
All right.
Except for when I'm at estate sales.
Thank you so much. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with John Bidwell. He's the founder and head instructor at Shred Kickboxing. Stick right here on the radio on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, we're back again, folks. Thanks for joining us on The Local Show. And there goes my headphones again.
If you were a professional like me, Tom, you wouldn't have these problems.
Well, if I would just spend some of your money and get another set of headphones, I'd be in good shape.
So when you worked at the radio days, what was the quality of the headsets that they had at those?
Well, you see, that was the thing. You knew you arrived as a professional if you brought your headphones. Because all the professionals, you bring in your own headphones. Because you wanted the ones that were comfortable for you, and you don't want somebody else's ear sweat, all over.
Ear sweat. That's a little creepy.
Well, and quality, but that it's funny because notoriously they don't pay well. So you'd have all these people with like $500 headsets, and they'd come in, with a car with the wheels falling off.
And when $500 was
meant something,
be like
right?
a $1,500 pair of headset today.
Yeah. I had these COS headsets.
I remember COS.
Yeah, and they were heavy.
I sold them at service merchandise, Tom.
Yeah. My neck would actually cramp because they were so big.
And they were probably $140, $150
back then, yes. Yeah, but I thought, bomb diggity.
Wow.
Yeah, how'd that work out? Yeah. Here I am.
And you're stuck with me. Throw out a quick note for Charlie. Mattress makers across from, what is that? Fleet Feet?
Yes.
Fleet Feet.
It's on
behind
Bridge
Henry
Street.
Wilson
I
Jewelers.
believe they call that Bridge Street.
If you decide to buy a mattress and you don't buy it from Charlie at the factory, you bought it from somebody else's factory and they marked it up.
Too much.
You marked it up 5 times. So doing a lot of organic stuff now. Mm-hmm. So you can actually eat the mattress.
Eat the mattress after you're done sleeping.
Eat the mattress. But go see Charlie. You'll pay less to get a better mattress. Mattress makers on Bridge Street across, behind Henry Wilson Jewelers.
Okay. John Bidwell is here with us. He's the founder and head instructor at Shred Kickboxing. How are you doing, John?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
Good, man. I know some people in the martial arts field. I'm good friends with no one.
Great friend. Awesome. The best friend.
Well, you might know my friend Chuck Norris. You probably know Chuck.
Yeah, I know him really well.
Yeah.
We were hanging out yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Chuck for a while. John Claude,
Oh, you know him too.
He's a good buddy of mine, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we throw a couple of kicks here and there. So what got you into this business? How long you been doing it?
Well, I actually started martial arts when I was 6 years old.
Very nice.
And I became an instructor a little over 20 years ago.
Okay.
So I did that for quite a while, and the hours just were starting to burn me out a little bit, and I needed a way to be able to keep doing that, but with hours that were more conducive to having a family. At the time, my 2 boys were really little, and I just wasn't getting to see a lot of them once they started going to school, and my wife's a teacher, so that made it pretty hard too. So, I got out into corporate America for a little bit. We were talking on the phone the other day. I did a little bit at a life insurance company, and then I did some sales elsewhere, and it just was not for me. So I got thinking, and I had been thinking about it for a while. What could I do that's martial arts related that I could control my schedule and be able to be home and be around for my kids? I have 3 kids now, so it would have been even harder at the time. So over the years, I had been putting some thought into it, and I had decided that kickboxing was the route. And at the time, honestly, when I was thinking about it, there wasn't anything else out there that was like that. Unfortunately, not jumping on it right away.
Yeah, some people came up. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Some other people come up with similar ideas. Yeah, and I'm glad though, because like you said, it is kind of a trend in the sense that more and more people are starting to know what it is
and catch on. Yeah.
Right. So that obviously is going to attract more people.
Where's your studio?
So I'm on Old Liverpool Road. I'm right across from Sant'Angelo's.
Oh yeah, great.
You would call that Carl's Plaza, Tom.
Well, I worked at WHEN for a number of years.
There? Was
so
right
that was
up the
right
road?
there. Yeah,
okay.
Right in the back there.
Were you ever like the size of a piano and you went into health and trimmed down?
No, he's been doing it since he's 6.
I know, but it doesn't mean he didn't swell up into Mothra or something.
So funny story is.
I see. Okay, I got something.
After high school, I did bulk up a little bit, to put it nicely.
Were you as big as Tom?
Could be, no. I'm huge.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that. No, but for me, graduating high school at about 150 pounds, I got up to about 220 at one point.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy for.
Well, that's 30% more body weight.
For a guy who's got a small frame, and only over the course of about 3 years, it was a lot of weight. So.
Did anybody inspire you? Did you train under somebody here in Syracuse that you really admired or anything? Or?
Yeah, so I started in an organization that was by a different name many years ago, and then over the years they've changed the name to Impact Martial Arts and Fitness.
Okay.
Yep. So we've got locations all over Central New York. Some good friends of mine. One of them is my longtime instructor, Theron Fight. He's got a location out on 57.
His last name is Fight?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not spelled the same, though.
No kidding.
What a bully.
Cool. Yep. And then a really close friend of mine, Jason Nolan, I worked with him in our DeWitt location for a long time, So, being with them and training with them, it showed me that it was definitely something that I could do.
And it was possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could you do with someone like Tom?
What could I do with him?
Yeah.
Well, no.
I mean, are we talking fighting?
Steve, no.
Fitness.
I was a bodybuilder for years, so
I think he wants me to fight you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did say you're friends with Chuck and Jean.
Yes. I'm not into the whole fight thing. But I guess where I was going was that in the 80s and in the 90s even, people would get into karate and martial arts to fight.
Sure.
And they wanted to fight, and it was like the old Karate Kid and all that. But now I think it's become more about fitness. Yeah. So yes, you can protect yourself, but more, let's lose some weight, let's be healthy metabolically, right?
Sure, and to an extent, that's accurate. Obviously, people are going to get into it for the weight loss, for the fitness, because it is a lot of movement, and a lot of the local dojos. I mean, you still have some that are very traditional, and they're not as fast paced, but a lot of the ones, such as Impact, do a lot of fast pace, and it is. I mean, fitness is right in the name now.
Maybe a better question than what you do for Tom. What can you do for somebody like me that doesn't work out, that should? I walk with my wife occasionally. Yeah.
And you don't want to go, challenge somebody.
Exactly. He's got muscle. That was never me.
Yeah.
Are your people that, I don't know, practice with you, your clients, I don't know what you call them, are they more like me or are they more like the Karate Kid?
So it's interesting because most of I shouldn't say most, but a larger demographic for me is 50 to 60.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
because with the way that it's structured, I'm not teaching people to defend themselves in my business.
Right.
If I'm at a dojo, yes, that's what I'm doing. But in my studio, I'm helping people stay active, stay fit, and just keep their strength going. I'm not going to have them lifting heavy weights. I'm not having them do sprints or anything like that, but it's through the high repetition and the constant moving while using those martial arts skills that's going to help them, whether they're looking to lose weight or maybe they just want to keep their cardiovascular system up.
Balance is important.
Yeah, and that's actually very common with some of the women who train with me. Anywhere from 45 upwards, one of the things that they want help with is balance, and you find that with a lot of the kicking skills.
Sounds less intimidating because there are people that were athletes. Sure. I was never golf. Yeah, they're an athlete. I wasn't that. Tom was. Yes. But what about so it sounds like it's not. Gyms actually make me nervous. People go, I'm going to the gym.
Well, it's intimidating for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just never really been in that habit. Yeah. So if someone says, I want to get in shape, I want to do some things, this really isn't, Tom, your analogy, Karate Kid, this is a way to work out. Is that fair?
Yes, it definitely is. And you do have people from all walks of life. I've got people who are current athletes, former athletes. I've got a lot of people who are active black belts, or they got their black belts and they haven't trained, but they're no longer looking for the combat. They're not looking to put equipment on and hit each other, get hit. They don't even necessarily want to do the grabbing, where you're learning self-defense moves. They just want to keep using those skills to hit the pads. Sure. And that pad work is phenomenal.
It's tiring. Ooh, I'll tell you what.
It definitely is. And that'll get you in some of the greatest shape of your life.
Yeah. So do you still practice martial arts yourself?
I do. Yeah. I actually am a 6th degree black belt.
Nice.
Yeah.
You do any tournaments?
No, I haven't done tournaments in a long time, probably 20 years.
My cousin said he knows you, and actually it's not one of my stories. No, my cousin Jason Murator. I don't know if you know Jason Murator.
I do know who Jason Murator is, I haven't seen him in a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing some training and stuff. He had Team Sananju or something like that.
Yeah, they were into a lot of the acrobatic type stuff too.
Yeah, I wanted to do movies and things like that.
It's a lot of fun.
So could people call you to have a conversation? Is 308-0250 okay number to call them?
Absolutely.
So 308-0250, shredkickboxing.com. They can go there and see your picture and see you beating somebody up or something.
No, I don't know about that, but yeah.
It's a great way to get in shape, and you sound like a really affable, fun type person. So
thank you.
Yeah, very communicative.
You talking to me?
So no, not you so much. No, John Bidwell right there. Thank you, John, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, founder of and head instructor at Shred Kickboxing. And we're going to talk with Charlie Roman coming up next. He's the owner of Daniella's Steakhouse. Oh yeah, let's go carnivore next on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Tom and Steve Fun Variety Hour, and we're rounding things out here with another guest that we've strong-armed to come out.
Tom and Steve Fun Variety. You just make these things up.
I do.
You just pull out, the mic goes on, and you just make this stuff up.
Oh, I think about it for a split second, yeah. And then, but you get used to doing it.
Just say what comes to your mind like I do, and it gets you in trouble, by the way.
Oh, good golly, yes. Well, you've come a long way. You've come a long way.
Tell me more, Tom.
Well, before I used to really be in fear of you opening your mouth. Now I'm only in a little fear.
That makes sense. Okay.
I'm less fearful.
I've come a long way, baby.
And it's a good thing, though. No, you're a big, kind-hearted
acquired taste. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. Charlie Roman is here, and he's the owner of Daniella's Steakhouse. And if anybody is, got a pulse and they've been near Daniella's, they know that it's one of the best around. And Daniella's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House, which is over on the grounds of the New York State Fairgrounds and all that. Charlie, how are you, man?
I'm excellent. Thank you for asking, gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you guys. It's always a pleasure, and it's a nice break from my normal day.
Yeah. So I remember Charlie. Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you used to dance on the bar and pour shots and things?
I think that's a Syracuse folklore that's no one's ever proven it true.
Yeah. And the thing is, there were no cell phones back then.
That's right, no pictures.
No pictures. But it was something like that.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Romans was wonderful and a heritage bar. How long did you own Romans for?
My parents started in 1960. I came on board basically in high school, so it was probably early 70s, 72-ish that I kind of got behind the bar. But quite honestly, I started attending bar when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Not legally, but I was doing it.
Well, and that was one of when bars were popular.
They're still popular, Tom.
Nah, it's not the same. No. Back then it was like, oh my gosh, we'd go out and we'd do like one of the big dance clubs, but you'd always end up at Romans because that's where the fun was, so that's pretty nice. Well, anyway, so now you are definitely more seasoned.
We've evolved.
You've evolved. Tell us, when did you open up Daniella's Steakhouse?
Well, we actually did the Daniella's concept. We rebranded when Bob Conjo was kind enough to redevelop Franklin Square. Quick story.
Oh, yeah.
So we added on to our little, working man's blue-collar tavern and became a restaurant.
Gotcha.
So we put on the dining room, the restaurant. We were Romans at the time, but again, there was an identity issue concerning a bar and a restaurant.
Yep.
So it became difficult. So we rebranded ourselves as Daniella's from Romans Franklin's in Franklin Square. And then when we did sell our real estate downtown, we went into the hotel where we are right now as Daniella's Steakhouse.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Why a steakhouse? What made you think steakhouse?
You know what? There was a lot of other restaurants out there. We just felt that was the right brand for us. It worked. We're a small concept. It's been successful for us.
Yeah. So, meat has become a very focal point in my life because, I'm doing this diet, which is very high protein and a lot of red meat and a lot of steaks and things like that. What kind of steak can you get at your place? Like what different cuts?
We've got everything from a filet mignon, which is probably the most popular steak in the marketplace. Obviously, it's the most tender, least flavorful because it doesn't have the marbling unless you're doing a high-end prime steak, which obviously has more marbling in it.
Yep.
We start with the filet. We go down to a New York strip, which is a little bit heartier steak, a little bit more flavor profile. Again, another popular steak. One of the other steaks that we serve is, which is much more flavorful, a little less expensive, a little tougher, or again, a little heartier, is a sirloin steak. So now we're down to 3. We also serve a ribeye, which is also, again, a much fattier steak, probably one of the most flavorful steaks.
Right.
We do a prime rib, which is also, we do that. And then we also do a bone-in, what we call a cowboy steak, which is a 50 ounce. That's over 3 pounds of meat that we serve.
That's what I'm getting, Steve.
Probably one of the biggest steaks in Syracuse, not to...
I noticed the Chuck steak didn't make the list. That should
no, it didn't. It should have been a Charlie steak anyways.
How about the eye of the round? Do you do any eye of the round?
No, we truly don't. On occasion, we do some other things with some specials and so forth that we'll bring in, they call the big bone-in steaks.
Tomahawk.
The tomahawk.
Yeah.
We'll bring those in. We'll do some porterhouses. But again, those are specials. They're not on the menu, but on occasion, we do offer them.
And aside from that, what other, what can you complement the steak with?
Well, we've got some great sides. We do obviously vegetable of the day, which is a nice sauteed vegetable that we serve. It also comes with a starch, a choice of a baked potato. We serve a 1 pound baked potato.
Wow, Tom can't have that.
I know, it's off his list. I'm going to put that little circle with an X through it.
No potatoes for Tom.
No potatoes for Tom. We got a huge jumbo sweet potato that we serve.
Oh, I love that.
We do hand cut French fries, which we serve. We do starch. Rice as a starch option also.
Yep, sure.
And we've got pasta as a side also. So you've got 5 different choices for a side starch that you can choose from. And we've got a great, what we call it, a stuffed baked potato with sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon. It's got all the good stuff.
So where did seafood come from? So, okay, up the road a little bit. How did that originate? Where'd that come from?
Again, we had a steakhouse across the street. We didn't want to open up a second restaurant and just get our market to move across the street from the steakhouse. So we said we got to create a concept that's a little bit different than the steakhouse. So the seafood and pasta came up. There's really not a lot of seafood restaurants in town anymore.
Good ones, for sure.
Other than obviously the nationals.
Yeah.
But the ones that used to be here years ago have gone away. So we kind of figured that'd be a nice box to check, and it's worked for us successfully. Unfortunately, when we did go over there, it was COVID.
Good timing.
Great timing. If you want to jump off a bridge, this is where you go.
Yeah. So at the fairgrounds.
That's open all.
That's open year round. Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays for what we call a la carte open dining. Reservations obviously were suggested, but not necessary. It's a much bigger facility than the steakhouse.
Yeah.
But we also do caterings. We do banquets. We do corporate functions. We do events, weddings, showers.
How about crab legs? You got crab legs?
All you can eat crab legs every Thursday still.
No kidding.
It's a great event for us. It's a Thursday. Every Thursday night.
Tom, can you eat crab legs?
I can't do shellfish. No, I break out to the shellfish. But I can do scallops and every other type of fish.
all the other stuff, absolutely. So we got a full menu plus the all-you-can-eat crab legs.
Do you have calamari?
Yes, we do.
Very nice.
Fresh calamari we bring in.
Oh. Why is that when Charlie talks about food, he makes me hungry?
Yeah,
most people could have read that list and be like, okay, what'd you do to me here?
So Valentine's Day. Any special or anything like that?
It's great that it's falling in the middle of the week for a restaurant. So I'm sure every restaurant in town is going, yay, we get an extra day this week, because you don't lose a weekend night. You get a holiday that falls on a weekend.
The weekend,
you lose a day, whether it's the holiday or the weekend. You don't get both.
You're not open earlier in the week, or you are for?
No, Valentine's Day we are open at the Seafood House at Fairgrounds. Yes, so we're open on Wednesday for Valentine's Day. We are taking reservations. We are quite
still have
full.
some room.
We have some room. We always make room for our friends and family.
Oh, good. Then I'm calling.
So
the capacity at the Seafood would be greater than the one at the Steakhouse.
Correct.
Yes?
We have about a 250 seat capacity at the Seafood House.
Right. But we could still get good steak there too.
Absolutely. We got steak and pasta on the menu also. We've got 3 or 4 steaks on the menu at the Seafood House, and of course a bevy of fresh pastas and other seafood also.
I think people some people don't know that, Jem, the Seafood is over there. It's right?
You know, you hit the nail on the head, Steve. Quite honestly, we're the forgotten corner of the fair, and you don't drive by our restaurants, so people don't see us. They don't think about us. Yes, we're on the marquee outside in front of the fair, but again, it's the visual stimulation that we lack for the fairground facility. Yeah. Even though the steakhouse is inside a hotel, you still drive by the hotel, you see the building.
If only you could be on a show and do marketing with an agency.
If I could find a popular agency in town that could market it really, really well.
I'll tell you what, Tom. You give me the keys to your bank account, we'll market you properly.
I'll give you the keys to the bank account.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. I am going to make my reservations, folks. Maybe if you want to see Kelly and I over there, we're going to go over there without Steve. So I don't know.
Steve, don't forget the homemade desserts that we offer at both restaurants also.
No, I can't do the sugar, man.
No.
But hey, I'll order an extra steak.
There you go.
I'll do that. Charlie, it's wonderful always to get together with you, and thank you for providing us with 2 great restaurants in town. Thank you.
Wonderful. We appreciate it very much for the opportunity. Thank you again, guys. Always great to talk to you.
All right. We're going to wrap things up. Steve's got to get ready for his big game party.
Yeah, I'm going to probably eat too much, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. Will you add anything to it? Will you clean up? Will you do anything to lend a hand?
I will lend a hand.
Okay, that's nice. On behalf of Tom and Steve and Zoey Advertising, God bless you and your families. Make some time to relax and exercise today and every day. Do it with a friend or family member. It'll keep your mind and body healthy. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.